YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got another pickups video for you here. A few interesting items to say the least, nothing super stellar, a bunch of empty cases and things like that as well, which is kind of a bummer because it would have been some interesting titles to add into the collection, but I'll get started on all this stuff right now. The first thing was from a Goodwill the other day. It was half price day on Tuesday. So I walked into the Goodwill. I saw these games sitting there actually the previous day. I didn't bother picking them up because they're really not that valuable, but I didn't have them in my collection, and they're not necessarily must-haves for me, but I figured for the price I would definitely go for it. The first one here is Ready to Rumble Boxing. This is the second one, so this is round 2. And I really enjoyed Ready to Rumble Boxing on the PlayStation 1. Never played the PS2 version of it, so I thought I would pick this up because it looks, you know, as equally sort of cartoony and fun. And I'm not too into like serious sports games except for maybe the old school like hockey games and stuff like that. But you know, as far as like boxing games when they're cartoony and fun like this, something I definitely wanted to get. The back of it is wrinkled, so there's been some water damage I think to it. You can't visibly see it, you can only see the bumps in it, but otherwise it's complete, which is really nice. And despite the water damage, the disc is in reasonable shape as well, so that didn't sort of transcend into damaging the disc at all, which is kind of nice. So for that one there I paid $2, and I thought that was a pretty reasonable deal, that's for sure. Moving on, I also picked up a few PS1 titles. Like I said, these titles were there the previous day, but I didn't bother with them. Just because I had bought a few other games, so I didn't really want to rack up a massive bill, and I figured they'd probably still be there the next day on half price day, so I went for them. The first one here is Spec Ops Ranger Elite, and this one here is totally complete, which is really nice. I've never actually checked out any of these Spec Ops Ranger games or whatever, but that disc is like really minty. It's hard to see, but it's like perfect. So I thought I would pick that up. For this one here, it was kind of interesting because I actually picked up 3 titles, and they're supposed to be $1 each, I guess is what they were going to charge me. I think normally they charge $3 for PS1 games, like video games, but the lady working there was charging me for CDs, and then it was half price CD price, so it was supposed to be $1, but I bought 3 games and she only charged me for 2, so that basically means it was like 67 cents for this perfect example of a game here. Just like the disc is just mint on it. The next one is in the same series. It's Spec Ops Stealth Patrol, and again 67 cents because of a clerical error, I guess. And she's just being nice. This one here has some smudges and stuff on it, like fingerprints, but again, it's in pretty good shape. It's really hard to tell on the camera, I think, the shape of these things, but especially PlayStation discs, but there are maybe some minor scratches on that one. But again, 67 cents for PlayStation 1 game. I'm going to pick those up all day long. Speaking of picking up a PlayStation 1, there's a third one, again 67 cents, and it's 007 The World Is Not Enough. And it's also complete. This is the greatest hits edition, which you can probably tell. But again, the disc is in really great shape, so I think I already have this one in my collection, and I'll probably just end up swapping that one out for this one. I think the one I have is greatest hits as well. I'll have to check, but this one's in mint condition, so that's really awesome right there. So yeah, for basically those 4 games I paid $4 in total, which is really nice deal right there for sure. Then moving on, I walked into a Tali's just the other day, and I picked up RBI Baseball 3. It was sitting on the shelf, and I had a Super Nintendo sleeve on the side of it, which is kind of funny because it actually fits quite nicely on the side of this disc, not disc, but rather cartridge. So I decided, hey, why not? I'd buy it. They wanted $5 for it. I think the game's worth a little bit more than that, and I already have it in my collection, but I'll probably end up doing a swap because this label's in, I think, better shape. I'll have to double check for sure because I know one of my RBI NES games for Tengen has like a little peel in the bottom label or something like that, so I'll have to check that out. But anyways, $5 for that and a dust sleeve, which I can use on a Super Nintendo game. It's a pretty good deal, I think. So I thought I'd pick that up. Moving on, I walked into the same Goodwill that I had gone to the previous day. There wasn't anything really new there except for this one title. It's a little beat up, but it's definitely worth what I paid for it, and it's Harvest Moon: Another Wonderful Life. You can see that the artwork and stuff is really in horrible shape. I don't know what happened there. It's like just basically peeled off or something like that. Not in the world's greatest shape or anything like that, but it is complete, even though the manual's a little worse for wear. It's not perfect, but still it's there. And the great thing is the disc itself is in pretty reasonable shape, so it's actually the best part of it, which is the most important part of any game, is obviously the medium that it's on, which is the disc. So that's pretty awesome right there. For that I paid $5, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. And then moving on, I walked into another Salvation Army. I don't normally go into this place because they auction off every single game that they have, but I thought I would go in anyways and just check it out. Maybe there's like a controller there or something like that. I had the time, so I figured I'd pop in to the Salvation Army. They had a number of things up for auction, which is always a bummer, because sometimes there's things in there that I want, but people just they get in the competitive kind of spirit about it, and they just not overprice, but they sort of raise the price up so high that it's not really worth getting it, the things that are there. The first thing that I picked up though is The Sims for GameCube. This is actually sitting on the shelf, but unfortunately someone has stolen the disc out of it, so I didn't pay for you know, their normal price for games for this. Then moving on, I picked up the Scorpion King, but as you can imagine, because one is missing, so is the other. And then also Dragon Z Budokai 2, which just has the manual, no game. Again, someone has stolen that. And then finally, the Thief got their hands on a really good game, which I already have in my collection, so it's not that big of a deal. I just picked up this case for the artwork, which is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And this is in a generic case actually, so I just picked it up for the artwork on it. When I went up to the counter with the 4 cases, I showed them that a thief had gotten their hands into them and basically stole them, and that I'd be willing to buy the empty cases. He goes, "How much would you pay for them?" And I said, well, 25 cents each be fine. He said that's fine, so he charged me $1 for 4 cases, 3 of which have GameCube cases in them, so that's fine. This one here doesn't, but you never know when you're gonna find that game loose, and having the outside artwork is kind of a good deal. So for that, for $1 was not too bad. I really wish that I could have picked them up proper like though. The next part was I walked into a pawn shop, which I go into sometimes when I'm having a slow day or whatever. I go into that pawn shop and look for different games in there. Basically the way that it operates there is every game you buy, you get one for free of equal value kind of thing, so buy one get one is the deal. I bought a couple of games that I have discs for or have cases for and so on and so forth, but I didn't have them complete, and I really wanted them complete because they're important games to my catalog for PlayStation 1. Even though they're not super valuable, they're important to me, so I decided to pick them up. The first one here is Driver, and I actually picked this up at the Waterloo Retro Game Show last year, and I'm trying to remember what vendor I picked it up, because if I see him again, I'm going to tell him next time, don't sell me a game that does not work. I bought this game off of them, and the disc didn't look in the world's greatest shape, but it looked like I could probably get it through buffing and stuff, like to go or whatever, and it didn't go. So I did have the case and manual and all that kind of stuff for this game, but I didn't have the game for it. So I have the game for it, but it doesn't work. So this one will definitely work, because it is absolutely in pretty decent shape. It's got some small little swirl scratches, but that won't prevent this disc from playing. So that's pretty awesome right there. When he went out to put the disc in, actually he almost put the Player's Choice Edition one in, or not Player's Choice, the Greatest Hits Edition in, so I corrected him on that, and he was like, what? Didn't even know that for PlayStation 1 games, the artwork here on the disc is actually just like silver, and they take all the color out of it. for the Greatest Hits edition, so I really wanted the correct disc, and he saw that and he was just like, oh, that's pretty cool, I never knew that. And then the next game that I picked up was Micro Machines V3, which is a game that is really important to my collection because I have this game loose disc, and I must have either, when I was, you know, previously or whatever, I must have thrown out the manual and the case or whatever for it. So I just decided today that, hey, it's there, I'm going to pick it up just so I can have a complete copy of it. So now I have a loose disc of this game as well. This is amazing, the fun little race game. If you've never played it before, I really enjoyed the original Micro Machines games, and this is one of the ones that I really enjoyed on the PlayStation as well, so I wanted to get that back properly in the collection. Now for these two games, the price on them is $8.95 each, but if you buy two, obviously you get one for free. So it worked out with tax and everything like that, actually worked out to $5 a game, which is pretty awesome right there. So, you know, for $5 each, I got a classic that I needed to get back in my collection properly, and my disc didn't work, and I got one that I didn't have a case for, so now I have the case and the game for it. This one here is also in really good shape, so it's probably in better shape than the one I have. Yeah, I think it might be. I'm not totally certain about that, I'll have to check it out. I did take pretty good care of my discs back in the day, so even still, that's that right there. So, you know, $10 for those two games, pretty awesome. And then finally, I ran into, well, I went to, this is interesting, I went to the thrift shops to start with, and then I went to the gym afterwards, which is sort of part of my summer routine because I have the time to do that. So I went into the gym, did my workout or whatever, came out, was on my way back down the street because my gym is in the same area as the thrift shops I hit up. I decided to pop back into Tlees, and the world's biggest shark was sitting right in front of the video game shelf. Ran into Long Shot. I'm like, oh man, this guy is always getting the stuff out from under my nose. And when I'm standing there, we started chatting it up, and there was nothing really new there because I'd already been there that morning. But there was nothing really new there. We decided to walk over to the Value Village together. When we walked into the Value Village, there was a pull-out cart, like one of the racks they bring out with all the bins and stuff on them, full of media, basically like CDs, DVDs, that kind of thing, and video games. They always rolled them out together. We saw it, so we both made a beeline over there, and you know, I had to push him out of the way and kind of wrestle him and stuff like that. Actually didn't really work out that way at all. He kind of jumped on one side of the shelf, I jumped on the other side of the rolling shelf, and there was another guy standing there with his phone out, and he's checking prices on a whole bunch of PS2 games. So I didn't even hesitate. Actually, I was on the opposite side of the shelf that they were on, and I just reached up and grabbed like a mitt full of them. The guy kind of said, oh, there's nothing really, to Long Shot said there's nothing really valuable here, and sort of walked away. And we managed to pull out a couple of games that we were interested in, and we had to decide which ones we were going to take because we kind of both were standing there, and obviously we're not going to you know, step on each other's toes or whatever while we're doing that. So what I picked up from that particular part of it was Superman Shadow of Apocalypse, and I'd never seen this game before, so I thought it was interesting. I mean, it looks somewhat decent on the back. I don't think it has the world's greatest style to it. Never played it before, didn't know much about it, but thought I would pick it up, and for that one there, it was $4. We continue to walk around the store, and then the lady was sort of putting games on the shelf as well, and this one sort of caught our eye basically, and it's for PlayStation 2 as well. It's the Amazing Spider-Man Web of Shadows. This is the Amazing Allies edition for PlayStation 2. So thought I would pick this one up, and it's complete. The disc is in pretty decent shape, just needs to be cleaned up. So that one there, also paid $4 for, which I think is a pretty good deal, which is kind of nice because that Value Village has been overpricing things like crazy. It's nice to see that they're, you know, doing a little bit of lowering of the prices on their PlayStation 2 stuff, because it's usually like $6.99 at that one lately, and now they're back down to $3.99, which is the right area I think for buying, you know, these kinds of things. But that's everything for this particular pickups video. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. I'm really pleased to get these back in my collection properly, of course. And although it's beat up, this is quite a decent find, I think, the Harvest Moon game. I can't remember if I have this in my collection or not already. I'll have to go double check. Really need to make that spreadsheet. I've been avoiding it just because I'd rather spend my time hunting. So, but anyway, needless to say, if not, I'll be able to sell this off, and the disc is in pretty good shape. So, thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I will see you all later.